Howdy, y'all. How you doing? You good? All right, I'm good too. My name's Jake. I'm a full-time musician in Dallas, Texas, and this is my pedal board. So I, on my Instagram, gotten a lot of requests to do something like this, and the reality is I like trying things. I'm kind of like a explorer. I just love to try new overdrives and try new delay pedals, and part of it is also like I want to be able to settle into something before I commit to it on something like this, which just got wired up and finished yesterday, and it's freaking gorgeous. So I feel, so kind of the whole journey here is I made the switch to ToneX not that long ago. I was on HX Stomp for a long time. I was really happy with it, and I was essentially just like, I love HX Stomp. I don't have any plans on jumping ship and going to something like a ToneX or a Quad or whatever, but this is broken. It's a good opportunity to kind of try something new. So I was like, worst case scenario, I buy the ToneXs from Guitar Center, and it's like, I don't like them, great, put them back in the box, return them, and go buy another HX Stomp, and I'm happy. So I was like, whatever. So I had my old PT3 that I'd been rocking for a while, and it was a disaster. So I was like, let's just go for it. So I held on to that format on the PT3 for a while because I wanted to settle into the ToneXs and get happy with them, and then also had a couple other things that I wanted to do and settle into before I committed to something like this, like a flat board with a riser and like, you know, and really custom built, which we'll get into in just a second. So I felt really good about it, and finally was like, all right, let's just commit and do it. So here it is. Here's a new board. It sounds... Ben, how does it sound? Sound good?
It sounds... I just played it. It sounds ridiculous.
All right.
It sounds too good. I'm a little jealous.
Oh, man. So here it is. Figured just do a whole rundown, kind of sounds and all of that stuff, and yeah, let's have some fun. So, first of all, the layout and the build and everything was done by Tone Ranger Audio, which is owned by my dude Ethan C. Is a killer guitar player and has a phenomenal ear and knows how to build pedals really well. And which he has. I have a lot of Tone Ranger stuff on my board right now. Well, my other buddy, Jake Pieper, is a phenomenal builder of boards and very high attention to detail, and crushed this. Absolutely freaking crushed it. So I am extremely happy with Tone Ranger pedals and pedal board build. They're just amazing. So give him a follow. Tone Ranger Audio on Instagram. So, Jake wired this up, Ethan built some things on here. Let's get going. So first, on the chain, where you see my instrument cable plugged in and where that little blue power con is just a simple junction box. It's absolutely freaking meat and potatoes. There's no crazy routing to it. There's no wet, dry, wet option. There's no, I don't know, master mute. There's nothing really all that fancy in it except for a clone buffer on the input, which sounds ridiculous. And I used to have a little buffer, like a little buffer box that you could turn it on and off so you could hear the difference, but I was just like, nah man, just commit to it. It sounds awesome. So just know it sounds awesome. And the power con is where I plug in my power cable. So on the other side, if you can see it, there's a little black cable. It's right there. So that's just the other side of the power con, and it's run into, actually, under here. I'll just go ahead and do that. Yeah. So it's run into the power supply for the mono, the new mono power supply, which is really great. Big fan. And that's what's powering the whole board, is just that one little mono guy. It's like the 11 input or whatever. It sounds awesome, or I guess it sounds awesome. It sounds awesome to me. The whole board sounds awesome, so it's probably really great. So anyway, that power con is what powers it, and then it's just straight through. the other side into the Cali 76 compressor, which I've had for a while, and I had it mounted underneath my board for the longest, and then finally decided to, obviously, you know, I gotta move it up to the top on a flat board like this, and I love it. It sounds really, really great. Before I play it, I want to kind of demonstrate kind of clean tone, I guess, but yeah, we'll get there. We'll get sound samples in a second. So that's always on, and then another always on is the Prickly Pear by Tone Ranger Audio. So if you don't know about the Prickly Pear, you do now. It is a preamp. It's an exact replica, exact clone of the preamp section of an STD 3000 delay unit, most notably used by Edge, Daniel Lanois. It's just a great delay unit from the 80s. It sounds amazing. And the preamp is kind of what makes those delay repeats sound so special. So it's kind of cool to put that at the front of the chain as kind of like a, you know, gain staging situation, kind of an always on tone shaper thing. It's just amazing. And I at this point, I cannot function without one on my pedal board. Like, if it's off, I know exactly, like, I know that it's off. I feel it in my hands. It's just really, really beautiful. So just to cap there in the dynamic section, I just want to kind of demonstrate what absolute clean tone sounds like. So this is like no compressor and straight into the ToneXs, which we can camp here for a second, because I'm telling you right now, I love these things. They sound amazing. They sound huge. They feel really good. They're HW from Tone Junkie. When I was like doing a lot of research, I watched a video of him talking about it, and he was like, they just feel juicy, which I was like, that's weird, man. But it makes a lot of sense. They feel really good. So here's like total clean tone. Guitar, claw and buffer into the ToneXs. Here's what it sounds like. Sounds great. So then I turn on the Cali. Notes go on for forever. The Duesenberg's already super high sustain, feels really good, and the Cali just kind of takes it to the next level. So now, this is the Prickly Pear. So what I feel and hear with it is there's kind of this natural like tightening. Like it kind of went from a little bit of a flubbier low end to like tightening it up a little bit, kind of rolling off a little bit as well. And it adds a lot of harmonic nature and this cool preamp feel to it. And for me, in my opinion, like if we're running digital stuff, something preampy like a Prickly Pear or the Mustang pedal, that like Neve clone pedal, something like that is just, that's kind of a cool preamp thing. What I think it does is it makes the digital stuff feel a little more authentic. Maybe sound, I mean, to those of you watching, it might sound a little digital, and that's fine. To me, in my hands and my ears, it feels really authentic. I also have a little bit of room verb on the ToneXs that are slightly different reverbs, just to give a little bit of dimension, and all of those pieces, in my opinion, and under my hands, it feels really authentic. So I'm extremely happy with kind of my core clean tone. Though the Cali and the Prickly Pear literally never turn off, ever. The one thing that I do that's different sometimes is my Prickly Pear, because I'm a special boy, and Ethan is my boy, my son. He's not my son. Maybe spiritual son.
He's kind of
He's kind of my son. He's not my son. He made me a custom one that has a second gain pot. So It's literally the same thing. It's just a second knob that is hotter than the first knob. So the first knob always stays on, the green guy stays on. Here's what that sounds like. And then quite a bit more gain. The cool thing about this pedal and most preamp pedals is that they can do fuzz really well. So this is kind of my fuzz option. So here's back to the green guy. And now we're in fuzz land. Pretty nuts. So, Prickly Pear from Tone Ranger Audio. Can't say enough amazing things about it. I love it. You should buy one. That's it. So now moving down the line, the two overdrive slots that I have are always kind of transient. So these are kind of my two main my main girls, if you will, where I love them so much. They're kind of like staples at this point, which is the King of Tone, which has been highly modded by Tone Ranger. I'll explain that in a minute. And a Noble's ODR1 30th anniversary rehouse with a EP boost clone. And it's an EP boost, it's just the dip switches have been moved to the top. Sounds great. So I have a few options at home. Ethan's building me a new one right now. That's going to be awesome. GE7 rehouse with a preamp in there, or a boost, and it's going to be great. I have a Chula Black Mamba edition at the house. I have the Hudson AP2, which is amazing. I have a pretty clear lane that I like to run in with overdrives, like stuff that's really open sounding and not super compressed. But I have a few options at the house, and if I ever want to buy something, these slots are designed to flex with some of that. So these two spots will pretty much always stay transient. But more than likely it's going to be these two, probably 75 to 80% of the time. One big important thing I forgot to mention, Cali 76 and Prickly Pear and King of Tone, all at 18 volts. All at 18 volts. I'm an 18 volts boy. If it has the option for 18 volts, I probably want it there. And then this slot, so those are daisy chained. I think those are, the Cali is not daisy chained, the Cali's on its own, but these two are daisy chained on one slot. So those will live at 18 volts. The Cali will live at 18 volts. And then this one is on its own slot, and I can switch it between 9 volts, 12 and 18 depending upon the needs of that pedal. So not every pedal can run at 18 volts. I wanted to be able to put anything there and just know, switch it down when it, based on the needs. Because I don't want to blow up any pedals. That's not good. That's expensive. So yeah, let's start with the King of Tone. King of Tone has been heavily modded by Ethan at Tone Ranger. So both sides have been modded to switch between high and low gain, and the dip switches have been moved to the top. So your OD, your boost, and your distortion. And I really basically only use the red side. But every now and then I want just a little less, and the boost side on the King of Tone sounds amazing. So it basically lives on these settings right here. And how I like to run my stuff is I like to limit compression kind of as much as possible. I want the compression to happen in my compressor pedal and in the amps. So when I send more gain into the amps, I want those to compress. I don't want to add more compression on top of it necessarily. Where, in my opinion, something like a Klon, which sounds great, can feel a little boxy to me. So that's just my opinion, and that's what I like to feel. I want really open or lightly, soft clipped overdrives, because it feels best and to my ears, sounds best to my ears and feels best in my hands. So let's just get some sound samples. So clean. And now side one of the King of Tone. that's okay. Sounds awesome. It's kind of like my favorite overdrive sound ever. Sounds great. The boost side's cool. I don't use it a ton, but every now and then it's just right. So clean. Sometimes that's the move. So I like keeping the knobs right there. If your amps are hot enough, like mine are, those knobs work, those settings work phenomenally. Moving down the line, got the ODR1 and EP Boost guy. The ODR1 is kind of a new thing for me, and the first time I plugged it in and played it, I was like, oh, that's why people love it so much. Like, it just feels right. It's kind of like sounds like a high gain overdrive, but feels like a low gain. It's a very interesting feel. And it sounds drastically different than the King of Tone. So one more quick note. I've never been a guy to like keep a ton of overdrives on my board. And here's why, guys, because you don't need to. You just don't. It's good to have options. Options are great. But like when you start stacking a ton of stuff, which I don't do, you start stacking a ton of things, it's like you start sounding way smaller. I would rather sound huge already with my core clean tone and then boost it basically with some color or just a clean boost. That's kind of my philosophy. So I've never really been a multiple overdrives on the board kind of guy. I'd like to commit to like one overdrive option and a boost and that's it. But with this build, I really wanted a second option just to have around. Because when I'm on a gig, when I'm traveling, sometimes it's like, I really wish I brought a second one. I really wish I had a second option because I'm tired of hearing the Nobles or I'm tired of hearing the King of Tone. I just need something different. So this was a really awesome, I'm glad I did this. Very, very cool. So, Nobles, here we go. It feels like, it's crazy. It's hard, to me it's hard to explain. It's just like, feels big, not a ton of low, but like everything's like exactly where it's supposed to be. Uncle Larry, Sweet Tom Bukovac, the GOAT. There's that Nobles like shootout video that he did, or that overdrive shootout that he did, and when they turned on the vintage Nobles ODR1, he like hit 2 chords and was like, that's gotta be the Nobles. He's like, he just called it immediately. And they were like, well, why, like, what is it to you that you know it is what it is? And he was like, it just is, like, it feels right. It feels like home. And for him, it's like he's the guy that kind of made it really popular. And I'm a huge Tom Bukovac fan. So I finally gave it a shot and I was like, he's absolutely right. It sounds like a guitar. It sounds like an overdrive. It's just awesome. So I love that pedal. I love tracking with it because it doesn't get so big. Like at low settings like this, it doesn't get huge and take up a ton of space. It just feels right. And for me with this pedal, I kind of like jokingly call this pedal the Nashville because it's like an ODR1 and an EP booster. It's like dead simple Nashville kind of thing. This EP booster is special. I think it's just so good. Like it's not sexy at all. It just sounds great. What I love about this one though is it has the low boost and the high boost on the top. So if I'm using like a darker guitar for a track or a brighter guitar for a track and I need to push it into a little more overdrive land, I can just turn up the low end. And with this guitar, it's quite a bit more low. But still sounds awesome. But then the high boost sounds so good. It's like perfect. So when you kind of, even with like, if I go here, don't need to stack your Are you kidding me? You don't need to stack your overdrive pedals. Just turn on a good overdrive and boost it. Sounds great. So go out of OD2 right here into volume. This is just the Lehle Volume S. It's the mini guy. I had the big guy, the Cadillac, for like 4 years. I still have it at the house and I love it. I just needed to like scale down because it was just so like big and I needed to get underweight. For those of you that don't know, flying with overweight luggage is expensive. It's $100 a pop, one flight. So round trip, $200. So I needed to get below 50 pounds. This is with case. You ready for this, Ben?
Tell me.
41 pounds.
Unreal.
Unreal. Unreal. So
you put some clothes in there too.
Put some clothes in there too.
Dude.
You put some coffee gear in there, which I'm going to do. Oh, you know it, dude.
Are you AeroPressing or what?
100%.
Yeah, see. Yep.
100%. For those of you that are looking to shave weight on some stuff and you have a big volume pedal like the Lehle is 4 pounds. 4 pounds. Did you know that? This guy, 1.6 pounds. It's crazy. And they're exactly the same. The taper's great. It's beautiful. Sounds great. Sounds like a volume pedal. So, I love it. Now, we're getting into the fun stuff. The really fun stuff. This is my H90. And I would venture to say this is my favorite pedal of all time. I think the H90 is like, hands down, no questions asked, like the best, most valuable, which is funny to say for a pedal that expensive, but most valuable, the best bang for your buck, most flexible pedal on the market, period. Because not only you're getting a ton of algorithms, you can use it however you want, you're getting a ton of algorithms, routing options are crazy. It changes with your board if you want to use it as something different. You can do that, which I'll tell you about here in a second. It sounds amazing. The flexibility that you get with like perform mode, and you can have like multiple things per bank, it's crazy. So I am a huge fan of this pedal. So when I bought it, I was like, this is just basically going to be my core delay pedal, and it's going to be the best sounding delay pedal of all time, which is true. But I was using a bunch of different modulation pedals, and I was just kind of unhappy, and I was trying to cut down on bulk in the board and like not travel with so much stuff on my pedal board because option paralysis. Ever heard of her? I just was like, I needed to simplify, and I eventually just decided to go with H90 as my first delay and my modulation. The modulations in here are nuts. So I have, let's do this. So go here, programs, clean chorus. Here we go. I mean, come on. You're like, it's perfect. It's perfect. And then the so if I go to the vibrato, I have my vibrato as well. Turn off micro pitch for the delay. Sounds like a VB2, sounds like a vibrato, sounds awesome. And the way that I have this kind of planned out here is, so my mods are obviously there. Each of those, 1, 2, 3, have a delay as well. So when I'm here, this is just delay, which we'll get to in a second. And then here is just adding chorus to that delay. And then here is adding vibrato to the delay. I only use chorus and vibrato for my mods. I don't need anything else, I'm just fine. So it's just exactly the same delayed sound. Everything is the same, it just sounds awesome, and it's very easy to use. So yeah, H90 is the best. Now, with delays, here's what the delay sounds like I have a few different options. I can run through them. So here's my Micro pitch is the algorithm that I love using. I use it for chorus, and I'm using it for delay in this one. It does a bunch of different things, and it sounds awesome. So here's the delay. Sounds great. Then when I throw chorus on with that, and then vibrato. Really pretty good. And then a couple other options I have. I won't do them with the vibrato or the mods, but I have this one. It's called Edge. It's a vintage digital algorithm. It sounds great. For when I want a really like obvious, bright rack unit delay sound, sounds great. And then kind of my favorite one is, it's pronounced bucket, spelled bouquet. It's like Deluxe Memory Man land. It's chewy, it's dark, it's warbly, it's awesome. And the repeats go on for forever. I love this pedal. For the sake of the rest of this video, we're gonna live on clean. Now we're looking at LVX. So my core delay sound is 2 delays. It's a dotted eighth and an eighth. They're stacked. And I like the second delay repeats to go on for a really long time. Because essentially what happens is when you stack those 2 delays and you run them in series, it kind of blurs into this like reverb diffused kind of situation. And it just adds this weight and bed underneath what you're playing. It just sounds beautiful. So LVX is kind of managing or carrying the heavy load of a second delay and like my ambient delay sounds. I love LVX. I love this pedal. I went away from it for a little while to try some other things, and I was like, I gotta go back. It's my first love. It's not my first love, but it's great. H90 off. And one quick thing, every one of my delay, I don't preset delays for songs. I have core delay options that I like have worked really hard on to build, and I just was like, I would rather just keep those and then change tempo and just kind of pick and choose what I want on that day. I don't preset per song. I don't do any of that mess. It's too much work. It's too much work, guys. Just make good delay sounds. You know what I mean? Just make good delay sounds. So here's LVX. So you can hear some stereo imaging going on there. So when I throw on the H90, this is what you get. I'll stab it first. To me, it just feels right to me. I can't I don't play I play in a specific way around it where I'm playing off of the delay and like just having a lot of fun there. When my second one is off, it feels funky to me. So I'm not the first guy to do this by any means, but there's been plenty of guys that are way better guitar players than me and way more known and way more reputable and all those things that have used this, and it just sounds right. Like Andy Timmons is one with the Halo delay. That's a really easy way to get a, simple, amazing sounding version of this. It's the same. It's kind of the same formula. So to me, it just feels right, and I love it. I love the, what I try to do is 2 different algorithms, so it just adds a lot more depth. And between my clean, bucket, and edge, each of those have their own second delay that I've dialed in, just to kind of complement and get a different vibe. So, very happy with that. I mean, let's throw on some chorus just for fun, Ben. Let's throw on some chorus for fun, you know? And then playing with it with vibrato is cool too. Pretty cool. And it's got some ambient legs too, you know, sounds cool. This is no reverb, it's just the LVX and H90. Some chorus. Let's pray. It sounds great. Very happy with that. Yeah. Finally, last pedal. MercuryX. I feel like my core sound for the longest was like an RV5, where I love modulated reverb, and I love the way RV5 sounds. And to be honest, like if I just had an RV5 on here, I'd be perfectly happy. But I'm with the RV5, what's a bummer to me is it's like, I wish I had like 3. Like I just want like 3 of them, and to do kind of the same thing. And it's obviously it's not very pedalboard friendly. And there's some pretty significant limitations to RV5. Sound quality and what it does to your tone is not awesome. It's charming and it's cool and it sounds like an RV5's in your chain, but it's like, it sounds awesome. It's just kind of like, I just want something a little cleaner and a lot more options. Enter in MercuryX. Before this, I had a Big Sky, and I had an LVX at the time, so it was LVX and Big Sky, and I was like, it's only a matter of time before Meris puts out a reverb equivalent of LVX. It's only a matter of time. And no joke, when they announced it, it was like October of last year. I had just gotten back from a trip. I walk into the house, open up Instagram, and they're like, surprise, we're dropping MercuryX. And I was like, guess what? Bye. I bought it immediately, and I love it. What's cool about it is you really get like, you have like 4 expensive reverb pedals in one pedal. You have the CXM 1978, you have all those algorithms, you have Mercury 7, which alone sounds remarkable, and you have 2 new algorithms, and you get all the brains of LVX. It's really like insane what this pedal can do, and the audio quality, the spread, everything, the functionality, how useful it is, it's just unbelievable. So I am a huge fan of this pedal. This is my favorite reverb I've ever had, hands down, and unless there's some crazy new amazing thing that comes out, this one stays. I kind of my always on is the 78 Hall, which is from the CXM 1978. And it sounds awesome, so dry. Whoops. Dry. Now on. To me, there's this like, I don't like shimmer reverb at all. I hate it. I say that, and in my ambient patch, there's like a slight amount of like pitch in there just to kind of, it just makes it feel really nice. It's nice. But I hate shimmer in my reverb. But the word that I keep coming back to describe that algorithm is like, there's just this shimmer to it. Like there's this movement and this high-end sparkle that just, I don't know, it's just crazy. It's hard to describe, but it sounds so beautiful. So that pretty much stays on all the time. And the cool thing about LVX is it has like a hold modifier, which, I mean, it says it right there, that you can kind of program to do whatever. You can do momentary, you can do latching, and it can control any parameter within that preset. So what I do is on all my stuff, I have like the standard patch. So it's labeled, or it flows like always on, large, or medium large, or whatever, and then large. And then there's a more switch for each of these. So the hold modifier is set to latch each of these, and they basically make it bigger. And here's the standard, here's more. Beautiful. So then the second one, this one's wild. Here's the more. Sounds amazing with reverb. And then I don't use this one a ton, but this is kind of like a big one. I think this one even has some cool, like, yeah. There's even a little pitch in that one too. The polychroma in the modifier just sounds amazing. It's like shimmer, it's like cool shimmer. It's like the only time I've ever liked shimmer. So, sue me. Sounds awesome. So what I love doing is basically, well, this is like my always on kind of setting. So with all my delays and stuff, like this is what it sounds like. So then if I want a little more, I can just do this. If I'm playing something like light that's in the distance and like I want it to be really pretty and sit a certain way, I can just throw on some ambience there. Pretty happy with that. Sounds pretty good. So that's kind of the end of all the wet stuff. It just, this combo to me just feels really good. So special, like kind of how all of them interact together, and it's just beautiful. I'm very, very thankful. And one question I get asked a lot of, and I'm just gonna forever answer this. I guess I'm still gonna get DMs.
You're still gonna get them.
Still gonna get DMs.
Yeah.
I don't run effects loops. I don't run wets after the amps. I don't do any of that mess. If I had two beautiful amps behind me right now, and no ToneXs were here, it was just two amps, all of this would run straight into the front end of those amps. That's it. That's how I personally, like, with digital world that we're living in, like digital guitar world, there's all these amazing options out there for going direct and all of that stuff. It's just like, treat them like real amps. And, while we're on that subject, ToneX. I get this question so much. Why do you have two? I'll tell you why. They're not stereo. I like stereo amps. I like the stereo image and how wide it feels to have two different amps, which today, by the way, Bad Cat Cub 3 on the left side, or whatever. It's on one side. I forget who made that capture, but it's really good. And then a Matchless Independence capture on the other side made by the Studio Rats. So can't recommend it enough. I basically have like an EL84 Voxy thing and then a Matchlessy thing. Sounds awesome. So essentially it's like, treat digital like you would a normal amp. Get it cooked to edge of breakup, and it's kind of like, yeah, my clean signal sounds dirty, and it's like, it's kind of supposed to. So that way, you get like, so much dynamic control. And at that point, I feel happy. The notes sing on for forever. They don't die out early. It's just like awesome. So treat digital like you would a normal amp, and you'll be much happier. Don't send your wet effects after. Just don't do it. Please don't do it. Just don't. It's not good. I say that. Some guys really sound good doing it, and there's certain settings where it sounds awesome, but I just feel like throwing your wet effects into dirty amps, especially with a ton of overdrive into it, just feels so good and sounds really rad. So, couple little wrapping up pieces. Powered by the mono. I forget the model name, but it's the big one. It's cool. For my DI, or line isolator, or whatever you want to call it, Pinstripe Diesel Plus, made by Charlie Fox. Listen, Charlie Fox is probably the nicest human being ever. He's so sweet, and he's super helpful. Great guy. I love this thing. It sounds awesome, and it's just built like a freaking tank. It's so sturdy, and I like sturdy things. So, highly recommend it. Cables, Mogami 2314, right? 14?
I think that's right.
Yeah, because 2319 is the Monsters Inc. situation.
Yeah, let me look, but I think that's
Fact
right.
check me. I can't be spreading harmful misinformation out here, Ben. Can't be doing it. But I think it's 2314. And I love it. And then, Square Plug SP400 cables, or plugs. Killer. Can't recommend soldered cables enough. I was on the Evidence Audio screw and solder list for forever. And then a year and a half ago, Ethan wired up my board, and I never had real good, proper soldered cables. Maybe once before, but this was like the first time in a long time. And I texted him right when I plugged it in, like after I picked it up, and I was like, I hear everything. There's sparkle, it's just different. Everything, it kind of sounds three-dimensional. It's very, very crazy, like how much of a higher audio quality there is with proper soldered cables, and you get the reliability. Can't recommend it enough. MIDI. I'm not a big MIDI boy. Tried it, not into it. I'm simple. I'm a caveman. I'm getting old. I don't want a ton of presets. I just want to find the stuff that I like. I mean, I just said I don't want a ton of presets. I don't want a ton of MIDI presets. I don't want to do like one switch changes everything. I'm not into that thing. I just want to send clock to my delays. That's it. So I haven't quite configured this yet, but I'm getting there. DMC Micro Pro from Disaster Area that sends clock to H90 and LVX, and it works great. It's awesome. And then I got a little foot switch that'll do some control things with it, but it's just clock only. I will never do program changes ever again. I'm saying that right now. I'm just not doing it because it's a pain in the butt. It's really a huge pain in the butt. I just want to keep it simple. There's that. The little rock stock guy here, bright switch. I don't have my light LED thing with me. It's a huge bummer, but it's really cool. We threw that on last minute because it was like, oh, there's this thing. We could just fit it on there and be awesome. So that'll be real handy. This is all on a Vertex Tour Compact. It's 26 by 14. It's essentially the same dimensions as my PT3, except there's just, instead of the 2 inches on the top, it's 2 inches. Those 2 inches are on the side. So 26 by 14. And then Fix Pedalboards made the riser. It's mag latching thing. It's awesome. It's great. Tuner, Strobo Stomp by Peterson. It's amazing. You should try Guitar Sweetener. You should buy this tuner because it's awesome. They have a mini version as well if you're cramped for space. The mini version is really, really cool. I just wanted the bigger display because it looks pretty. And the Guitar Sweetener tuning option is amazing. It sounds really, really cool. Let's see. Ben, am I missing anything?
I have 2314s on my board.
Okay, good.
I think it's probably the same builder, same board builder, so probably that's what you have. And SP400s.
Yeah, that's it. I said SP400.
Are you missing anything?
I don't think so.
How does it feel to have 2 decks? You're like,
oh,
you got 2 stories.
I got 2 stories, dude.
Dude, isn't it great?
It's this is man.
I was out on it for a while.
It just feels so good.
Yeah.
What I love about this layout, here's a little tip about layouts. I've had pedal boards for like big pedal boards and whatever for a long time, and I just feel like when you start doing this and you start getting pedals that are crammed together and diagonal and it just looks weird and it feels weird and you're doing like you have to, like, I don't know, pray to get that switch and not hit anything else. What I wanted here was simplicity. I wanted everything to be right here. And I also wanted to hide some things. So I wanted to hide the power, and if there was any like runs or anything, I just wanted to do that. Like make it clean in there and hide some of the stuff that's kind of, you know, bulk or cables or whatever. And I didn't want to touch the knobs. I wanted the knobs on the ToneX to be covered. But like, I also was like, I need 2 pedals up there. Like, I just want to be able to reach easily. And look at this. Look, boom, 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 boom. Look at that. It's right there. Everything is here. It feels so nice. I don't have to do this anymore. That's the sound in the face. You go, like you're gonna you're gonna blow your back out. Just, don't do that. That's a weird sound.
Yeah, because you gotta wear the right shoes.
Gotta wear the right
sometimes.
shoes.
What size shoe do you wear?
10.5.
Yeah, so same. And mine are a little wide.
Yeah.
So like if the base of my toe is a little too wide,
yeah,
you know, I might hit 2 things at once. I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that either.
I don't want to do that.
That's why I wear Converse, because they got pointy toe.
That's why I wear them too.
Yep, they work.
Where all my Converse boys and girls at?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Where the Converse boys and girls at with pedal boards?
Where are you at?
Man, I love this board. I love guitar, which I guess to wrap up, Duesenberg Fullerton CC #1. I love this guitar. I love it. I love the Lord. I love guitar. I love playing guitar. It's a lot of fun for me. So, this is on YouTube. You're watching this on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Like and subscribe. You know, drop a comment down below. Say your favorite shoes.
For hitting pedals.
Freaking and pedals. Yeah, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Send, you know, post comments, ask questions, all that stuff, whatever. Follow me on Instagram. If you're watching, follow me on Instagram. Fake Jobber on the grams. Have a lot of fun over there. Go over there and follow along with me. Thing that I'm involved in that I'm really excited about, the Way of Worship. at the Wave Worship on Instagram. I lead cohorts, I lead small groups of guitar players that want to grow in their craft and competency and be leaders on the worship teams. I have a lot of fun doing that. If that's something you're interested in, if you want to stick around with me for 6 months and listen to hear me talk for 6 months, are you kidding me? Ugh, dude, gross. If you want to do that, would love to talk to you about that. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm enjoying life. I'm talking about pedals with my friend Ben. You're watching this, that's kind of weird, but I'm having a blast. So yeah, there you go. Hope you enjoyed this. If you made it to this point, wow. You're a special human being. Because I wouldn't listen to me talk for 45 minutes. Wouldn't. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. I had a blast. Have a good day. See ya.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Perfect. See ya.